Syrian forces rolled into the strategic border town of Kobani, blocking one path for the Turkish military to establish a safe zone free of Syrian Kurdish fighters along the frontier as part of its week-old offensive. The seizure of Kobani by forces loyal to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad also pointed to a dramatic shift in northeastern Syria. Syria's presence in Kobani puts a firm limit on Turkish ambitions in its offensive. In other areas, however, Turkish forces and Kurdish fighters battled heavily. Syrian refugees started arriving in northern Iraq as UN agencies reported deaths on both sides of the border. And with Russia offering to mediate a resolution in northern Syria, US Vice President Mike Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo are on the way to Turkey to press for a ceasefire. US President Donald Trump, meanwhile, says things are very nicely under control in northern Syria.
The thing that's common is that everybody hates ISIS. Now, the PKK, which is a part of the Kurds, as you know, is probably worse at terror and more of a terrorist threat in many ways than ISIS. So it's a very semi-complicated, not too complicated if you're smart, but it's a semi-complicated problem. And I think it's a problem that we have very nicely under control. We have two countries wanting their land. We have one country that wants land perhaps that doesn't belong to them because they want to have a 22-mile strip of, they call it freedom. They call it a lot of things. They want to get terrorists out. You have another country that says you can't have our land.
And the US House of Representatives has overwhelmingly voted its bipartisan condemnation of President Donald Trump's withdrawal of American forces from Syria.
On this vote, the yeas are 354.
Despite stark divisions, Democrats and Republicans banded together and approved a non-binding resolution by 354 to 60. And protests against Turkey continue. A dozen activists protested in Cape Town over the current Turkish offensive. Bureau Report, Republic TV.